Okay, this is part 2 about the Divorce Survivors Retreat. This is my notebook that they gave us, which was awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Because I had somewhere to write notes, and I love to take notes. So, pages and pages. The first speakers that we had, I got to the retreat late, as I had said, around 7, a little after 7 p.m. And so the speakers were already, talking, and so I went up to the amphitheater and found myself a seat, and it started getting kind of cold, but it was really nice being up there in the mountains. So I came in when Angie Smart was talking. Angie is from, what is her thing called? I just forgot what her, something worldwide. I'll be right back. Alright, it's Elevated Worldwide. Okay. Angie is, has a business called Elevated Worldwide, and she does coaching. And the first thing that she talked about was self-awareness. She said that it is one of the most important things and if you want to change, which totally makes sense to me because you've got to be aware of yourself if you're going to make any changes, right? If you don't realize you're doing something or not doing something or that it's having an effect or that it's not being effective, you're not going to be able to make any changes. So that rang true to me. Self-awareness is the number one thing. She talked about the importance of reading and studying from good books, tons and tons and tons of good books. And not only that, but rereading really powerful ones over and over again. Because she said that repetition is so, so vital, especially for making change. We can read something, but for it to actually stick and internalize and affect change, we've actually got to repeat that. Because repetition, we know, is the mother of learning. So if we're going to really have something ingrained in us, we've got to repeat it. So she talked about self-awareness. She talked about repetition. She talked about our lens. Our lens is how we see everything around us. And she said it's not just created by us, it's affected by our experiences, by other people, even our ancestors. But guess what's cool? We have the power to change that lens. She kind of described our lens as like our beliefs, our use of time, our self-worth, how we use it, how we use our time, I think that's supposed to say, our habits, our perception, creativity, productivity, logic, effectiveness, how we view money, all those kinds of things. So becoming aware of all of those, how we, our traits, how we use those things, how we approach those things, how we view them, would be number one. And then we can change those. She gave an example, kind of to demonstrate how our lens works. So if you clasp your hands together, notice which thumb is on top. For me, it's my right thumb. So clasp it the other way and just feel how uncomfortable that is. And then she had us raise our hands to see how many people, to put their right thumb on top or their left thumb on top, and if it felt uncomfortable the other way. And only a couple of people said that they could do it either way, and it felt the same. I kind of doubt that, because really, I never clasp my hands with my left hand on top, so that feels really uncomfortable for me. But maybe some people really do, just interchangeably. Maybe they're right-handed and left-handed. So she talked about how it feels the other way. Is it right or wrong? No. But we return to homeostasis. We return to what's comfortable and what's familiar to us and what we know. So, let's see, I'm not sure what this is. She said, there's an Arabic proverb that says, he who knows and knows that he knows is a wise man, follow him. There were a couple before that, he who knows and doesn't know that he knows, whatever. Anyway, there are different, definitions for each one, but that was a cool proverb. I want to look that up later so I have the whole thing. But she talked about our reference groups, okay? And she said that our reference groups determine 95% of our success or failure. That's crazy to me. But we all know that it's important who we surround ourselves with, right? She said that who's in your reference group and who you're listening to, and then will affect you. So she said, we think habitually, we feel habitually, and we act habitually. So when we want to change that, we've got to become aware of it again. And then we have to choose to change our negative programs. Because like before, with the whole thumb thing, right, we return to homeostasis. We just keep going back to what's comfortable, what's familiar. And that's not really going to help us improve or change. Repetitive words, she said to start with gratitude with her programs. She, got a booklet from her because I did a free coaching session. And it's true, everything starts with gratitude. That's how they base their coaching, and I really think that gratitude is just, I've talked about this before, but it's a good way to go in our life. Really start with a good, strong foundation of gratitude. And then she talked about balance. She said that if we're balanced on the inside, we project balance on the outside. Have you ever heard that, what's happening around you is a reflection of your beliefs or how you're doing inside? So she said the same thing. She said outside is a reflection. Repetition combined with a strong emotional impact create change. So you need to become aware of something, and then you would maybe want to study that principle and create a strong emotional connection with that. So it has a strong emotional impact, and then just repeat it over and over and over, and that would help you create change. So she gave examples of strong emotional impacts. A negative one, a parent says, "Don't do that, you're bad," which that's extreme, but maybe they say that. Or a teacher says, "You're never going to go to college, you're never going to amount to anything." That would have a really strong negative emotional impact. Okay. A positive one could maybe be your aunt who says, "You can do anything in this world. I believe in you. You're powerful." So repetition is powerful. Hearing those, you could change those things. So let's say you had a negative belief that was, said to you by a parent or a teacher. You can change that, but you're going to want to repeat it over and over to change that program, because that's what you're used to. You're used to that belief that you heard. And children are very impressionable, as we know. So something that you heard as a child or as a youth is probably impacting your life quite a bit now as an adult. But you can change that. Remember, this is cool power. She said, live like the person you want to be today. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. Who do you want to be? Start there today. God will raise your level of desire. So, for example, I'm not actually sure what this was because I just have a partial note here, but it says, I want to be happy and married, ... God raises that. So, I guess if you're wanting to be happy and married, then God would raise that to, even a little bit more. Actually, these might have been Arno's notes, to be honest, because I don't think I took notes from you. Sorry, Arno. Cruzman, by the way. I couldn't say his name in the last video, but I remember it's Cruzman. Anyway, so those are my notes from Angie Smart. And then we were really privileged to get to hear a musical devotional fireside thing from John and Narelle Kanan. And they are really awesome. So his wife spoke first, just for a little bit, and then he played the guitar and sang some beautiful songs that were really meaningful. The first one he sang was Where Can I Turn for Peace, which was our theme for this retreat, so that was awesome. Anyway, but his wife, Narelle, I think I'm saying her name right, sorry, she talked about having a daily devotional, and said we could call it our power hour. And she said, you guys are survivors, which, we've got to remember that. We've been through something really hard, those of us that have been divorced. And those that haven't been divorced, we all go through hard things. Maybe you've been widowed, or you've had a really, really sick child, or you've had some physical challenges. We're all going through something in our lives, or have, or will. It's just a part of this journey of mortality. So recognize that you're a powerful survival, that you've overcome hard things. But she talked about the importance of reading scriptures and other uplifting material every single day. Said that it's really important to carve out that time. And I love the term power hour, in the morning. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm trying to work on, because I just kind of read whenever throughout the day. I do want to start having a dedicated, 15 minutes, half hour, whatever I can do in the morning to start my day off right. But I love that idea. So anyway, John sang a bunch of beautiful songs, The Lilies of the Field, Bob Dylan's To Make You Feel My Love, that was cute. You Fill Up My Senses from John Denver, that's just one of my favorites. He said, let that be your vision for your future. So I think the message in all of this was just to be so faithful and so hopeful, and to just really believe that there's good in the future. He talked about how we're closer than we think, and the price of love is worth it. And that's beautiful to me, because that's kind of been a struggle sometimes, to keep that faith in a future relationship working out and being something beautiful. But he said it's closer than you think. Okay, last I've got Rebekah Anderson. She spoke to us in the morning. She's also, all of these speakers are divorce survivors, which is awesome. Even John and Narelle, at least one of them I think is divorced. Maybe they both are. I think they both are. So Rebekah Anderson also talked about the morning ritual. She said it's vital. She also talked about repetition, said repetition in words and also gratitude are really powerful. And she talked about the 10, I think these were the 10 things that she overcame in her divorce, or the 10 steps of overcoming or something. I wish I could remember what she called these, but number 1 was surrender. 2 was the law of attraction, or what you focus on expands. 3 is forgiveness. 4 is I am affirmations, positive affirmations. 5 is vulnerability and authenticity. 6 is boundaries that are set with love. 7, trusting yourself and your intuition. 8, laughter, song, and dance, which I think is really important. I'm really glad she talked about that one. 9, the atonement and the grace of God. And 10, our true identity, that we are truly children of God. Those were beautiful to me. When she talked about surrender and what that meant to her, I have found there's a lot of humility in surrendering ourselves to God and saying, okay, I give it all to you. This is too much. This is, I'm only a human mortal being, and I just surrender. Please help me fix this. Help me make something out of my life. Help me achieve greatness. Help me overcome this. Whatever it is that we need to do, we've got to just surrender to Him. So she said that every day she would read the Serenity Prayer. And that is, I wish I wrote it down. I'm hoping that you've heard that before. Something about God grant me the wisdom. No, God, how am I going to mess this up? Grant me the ability to see the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, or something like that. Anyway, I know I messed up the words, but that's the general gist of it. She posted that all over and would, read it every day, remind herself. She talked about the Book of Forgiving by Damon Tutu, and also talked about how forgiveness is really about the forgiver. And she said to do mirror work morning and night. I don't remember if this was her that talked about saying something in the mirror. I think that wasn't her. But I don't remember exactly what she was saying about mirror work, sorry. But something that we want to do morning and night. I guess we can kind of figure out what she would mean by that. She talked about having an I am board, where you just constantly write I am statements throughout the day and just add to it. She said her kids love that. It's like a whiteboard that they can just write on throughout the day. Talked about Brené Brown, the gift of imperfection, taking off our masks, and said that vulnerability breeds connection. I love that. I have a whole blog post about authenticity. She talked about being authentic, vulnerable, and real, and I really, really believe that those are powerful, powerful things. Clouden Townsend wrote a book on boundaries, I think. She said, set boundary with love. What am I willing to do? What am I not willing to do? And what do I feel is best for us? It's a good way to set some good boundaries. Eliminate your limiting beliefs and don't give away your power. So, and then last of all, sorry, she wasn't the last one, McLean Taylor. Didn't mean to forget you. Philippians, she quoted, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. I love that scripture. That was the one that I forgot. She said she posted all over her house and would read it every day. And it's so true. If you need something to get you through a tough time, that scripture will do it. Reference the talk in the strength of the Lord by David A. Bednar. She said, the enabling power of the atonement is strength to do something beyond our own. I'm guessing that's a quote from Bednar, but I'm not entirely sure. And the grace of God is power beyond our own. So, this really is the last, I think. McLean Taylor, he's a performer, and I actually got to go see him in Big up at, now I forgot the middle school. I want to say it was Cottonwood? It was up by Cottonwood. It wasn't Cottonwood Middle School, though. What was it called? It was amazing. He's an amazing performer, just like bigger than life energy. He fills up the theater, even though it was a pretty good-sized theater. He really carried that performance, and he did a great job, McLean. So, he said, of all God's beautiful creations, we are the greatest. The number one word in the Book of Mormon is remember. I've heard that before. I don't remember how many times it appears in the Book of Mormon, but I've actually started just writing like a little blue square around the word to help it jump out at me. He said that God sent His Son knowing we would get divorced and knowing that we would face trials, and that's really cool to me. He knew the end from the beginning, and He prepared for that. And as much as the atonement is for our sins, it's also for the pain that we suffer. And so I love that He said that God sent Him knowing that we would get divorced and knowing that this would be really hard on us. And He prepared a way to help us through it. He talked about imperfection. He said there's no perfect lines in nature, and that's so cool. In order to grow, you need to make decisions, and you don't make decisions logically, you make decisions emotionally. Negative beliefs, for example, love equals pain, need to be dealt with first before we can move on. He said forever is an eternity of right now moments, and I definitely believe that. I believe it's really powerful to focus on the now, to really learn to be happy right in the moment. 5 questions he gave us. 1, what is the emotion that I'm feeling? 2, why am I feeling this or these emotions? 3, what do I want? What is it that I want? 4, what do I need to believe or perceive to get what I want? And 5, what do I need to do in order to get what I want? That was an interesting exercise for me when we did it. He said the most dangerous thing is what you think you know but don't. And he said that that's definitely his definition of that is pray. And then I have just a couple of notes from, like I said, I got a free coaching session with Angie Smart. Thank you, Angie. That was awesome. She said, one of the most important things you can say when you're going through something and you don't know what the outcome is going to be is the right action is occurring for all parties involved in this situation, fill in the blank. She said there is a right outcome for all that are involved. And so sometimes when you're worried, like, I don't know if I should be saying, you know, like talking about affirmations and stuff, like, I want it to turn out this way, or I want this result. Sometimes it's hard to tell, especially when there's a lot of people involved. So instead, she said you can just say the right action is occurring for all parties involved in whatever the situation is. She told me that falling asleep and waking up is the moment where our subconscious is open the most. That's a really powerful time. Daily for 30 days before changing. Instruction for subconscious. I think she was just saying that if there's something that you're wanting to change in your subconscious, you would want to use that time, right as you're falling asleep or right as you're waking up, to repeat that to yourself so that it can really sink into your subconscious before you can change. In beliefs about money, believing that you're worth it and that your kids are worth it if you're a parent, that you guys are worth it, you can have money, and having a positive belief about that. She said that information is energy. That's really cool. She talked about studying. She told me that she read like 1,000 books when she was going through all of this, and a lot of them just reading over and over and over again. I don't know if it was really 1,000. I'm sure that was an exaggeration, but she said she was getting every book on, I think, like self-help and energy work and just a lot of really cool stuff, and reading it again and again and again. And that's really where it started to not only sink in, but she said she was able to, through reading so much and repeating it, kind of notice like the cross references, like, oh, they're talking about this over here, and it's just like this person that's saying this, and it's just like this one, and they put it that way, and it's like the same thing. And that was really, really, really valuable to her. She said information frees you, knowledge is power. And then just the 3 steps she's to change, I guess, is learn, repeat, and apply. So you got to learn something and repeat it over and over and over until it's ingrained, and then you've got to actually apply it. And sometimes that's the hardest thing. Like, we know something, we believe it, but then putting it into practice is another story. It can be really hard. So actually putting that into application is really important. So those are my notes from the retreat and some of the things that I learned. I hope it will help you. But again, it was an amazing retreat. Thank you so much, Lisa, for doing that for all of us. You're amazing. We love you. And I'm really excited to hopefully go next year. And hopefully for years to come. So anyway, have a great day, guys, and thanks for watching. See ya.